Yes, now we're green. Okay. Welcome to another stream, guys. This is stream number 8. And we're going to talk all about Prime Video. So, the best movies and series on Prime Video right now that you can watch, and also the ones that are not there anymore, unfortunately. Oh, there was a time when I remember that watching Two and a Half Men on Prime. The Mentalist was amazing. The OC. All my favorite stuff. But it's not there anymore. Well, should we cry? Anyway, we actually have other stuff that is on there, so let's go and have a look at it. Just my time is not running. I don't know. Okay, so as you can see, as the first thing visible here is, I'm just gonna check that I'm live. Yep, I'm live. Awesome. Just to check, because the time is not running here, so I don't know. Yes. Okay. So I received an email today, basically from Amazon Prime, like, oh, there is a new movie available on Amazon Prime. And I'm like, okay. So I open an email, and there it was, 1917. I was at the cinema to see that movie, and I must say, like, yes, so basically very, very well done, and I enjoyed it so much. So the story is obviously, like, there's a difference between American style war movie and British style war movies. So basically, the British stories are slightly, like, real and not so much overdone. So the Americans tend to overdo it, like, oh my god, like the hero and stuff like that. So 1917 is definitely awesome choice, and it is available right now on Amazon Prime Video. So go watch it. Like, this is my a huge recommendation. Go see it, go watch it while it's there, because I don't know if it's gonna go away, but it actually might. So let me just show you. Yeah, so it runs 1 hour 58 minutes. Obviously the reviews are amazing. Winner of 7 BAFTA, a lot of Oscar nominations, and actually wins. And yeah, I mean, Benedict Cumberbatch is there, but very, very little role. So don't, expect too much from that. And I think also Colin Firth is there. Okay, so available to watch right now. So you better save this one for sure. Okay, let's go. David Copperfield, also very new movie. I didn't go to the cinema to see that last year, but I was actually thinking about it, but it was too probably like eccentric. At least the trailer looked like that, so I didn't go. But it actually might be good. Let's have a look at the reviews. Okay, so the reviews are good, but they're kind of mixed, right? So it's not like 5 stars. So probably there's some people like some people might not, like it because it might be just too much of everything. But yeah, I believe it has some nominations at the Oscars as well. Spanish person, I don't know that. Prime Video Halloween, Fright Fest. That looks interesting. Right, so they added new horror movies here. What I know, the Blair Witch. The Blair Witch is available on Amazon Prime. It is included in the Prime membership. I mean, Blair Witch is kind of a classic, isn't it? I think it was like the first movie that I've ever horror movie that I've ever watched, and I was only about like 9, 10, or 11. I'm not quite sure. But I was really scared. Really scared. And I was so scared to go to the forest afterwards. It was crazy. I was just thinking like we're gonna get lost and there's gonna be weird things happening. Okay, so here are the horror movies for the Halloween, which is basically almost here. The problem with some horror movies is that they suck. Basically, they're not any good. I mean, like, you're not scared. It's more like it's kind of like getting ridiculous sometimes. So I don't know. American Psycho, is it Christian Bale? Yeah. The Cabin in the Woods. I didn't like it that much, to be honest. Dark Shadows with Johnny Depp. So yeah, so these are the horror movies available for the Halloween. There are a lot of them, so you can see them right here. Okay, so let's go back. And welcome to the Bloom House. What? Oh, these are the paid deals. Okay, so basically, I have some movies, of course, like watch next. Because based on what I'm actually watching or was watching before. So, of course, Bones, 100%. Like, if we go and talk about TV series, like TV shows. So, as I mentioned in the beginning, like, Two and a Half Men were available. The Mentalist, The OC, and so on, but they're not available anymore, unfortunately. But we have Bones, which I love madly. We have obviously Jack Ryan, because Jack Ryan is Amazon original. It should be somewhere here. It's always... So, yeah. So, Amazon originals are always available. So, no worries there. Here's the Blair Witch Project. Yeah. As you can see, I was just like watching it, but then I said like, okay, never mind. The Bones, one of my favorite TV shows ever. The actual like the cases are pretty interesting, and it's kind of like creepy, funny, and very scientific, which is cool as well. And I think, of course, the big love story between Booth and Brennan is to die for, and it's just so sweet in a very, of course, unusual way. Absolutely love it. I mean, look at the reviews, and this is just season 3. I mean, I think this is one of the best TV shows, and I think it's the best crime TV show ever. And also, I would argue this with The Mentalist, but I think Bones have much better cast, to be honest. So I have watched like almost all the seasons, except for the season number 12, because I just didn't like, like if you do something for 10 years and it's good, and then you have like 2 more seasons and it's just not so good. So I didn't watch it till the end, to be honest. But I don't mind. The seasons 1 to 5 were like the season 5 is like, oh my god. And then from season 6, basically, it's kind of like, it's like they lost that spark, which they kind of get back in season 7 and 8. But then like 9, 10, I think 9 is also good. But the season 10 was very disappointing, unfortunately. But this is just my opinion. Okay, so in terms of crime, what I'm watching is Boston's Finest. So basically, I discovered this just randomly. I was looking for like some crime, but I wanted like to see the real police work, and especially the detective world and work. And I felt like there has to be some kind of reality show, and without actors, so literally like documenting detectives' work. And I stumbled across Boston's Finest, and I'm like, whoa, like I really liked it from the beginning. I think there's only 2 seasons. Yes. So the only 2 seasons available, basically. The first season has 8 parts, 8 episodes, and like I should leave a review because they only have 4, but they are pretty high, so I'm gonna leave a review for that later. So yeah, so like following the actual real life detectives. And what's interesting about this is the fact that their personal lives are touched on it as well. So let me just open it because I'm gonna talk about it a little bit more. Yeah, so it covers their work, but also it covers their personal lives. So if they're, married, having kids, having like family to take care of, and there are some detectives that are, single, and they can't really meet people because of their job, and everybody's like, oh, you're a detective, so or back, basically the police squad, and they're kind of like, oh, so yeah, so basically detectives, but it's they're police officers, gangs, squad, and yeah, so basically they're hunting down gang members and homicide killers, and usual, there's also the drugs. It's like a drug squad, so I remember. So yeah, so it's very interesting to watch, and I really like it. And by the way, you can hear, like, you can see starring Donnie Wahlberg. He's actually not in it because it's not the acting, like movie or series. So it's actually with real police officers. So of course, Donnie Wahlberg. First of all, he's a producer, and he is the narrator of this. So he's narrating the whole series, and of course, because he's the producer, so, and he can't be in it because he's not a police officer. So yeah, so I think I found it through Donnie Wahlberg, actually, because the Wahlberg family is very talented. Okay, so let's go here. Okay, I'm gonna talk about sports later. Okay, all right. Let me talk about Knives Out. Right. Guys, have you seen this movie? Let me know in the chat. It's a new one. It's 2019, but to be fair, like, it, was in the cinemas, and I was thinking, like, should I go and see it or not? So I have decided that I wouldn't see it. So I went to see 1917 instead, and I didn't watch this. And basically, when I saw the trailer, and I was like, I mean, the cast is amazing. Basically, Daniel Craig, aka James Bond, Chris Evans, aka Captain America. And I felt like, oh my god, like, this cast is great. But the trailer was slightly like, how to say it, weird. And it's kind of like you have to be in the mood for it, because if you're not in the mood for it, you're not going to enjoy it. And I wasn't in the mood for it for a very, very long time. And I think last week or 2 weeks ago, I felt like, I'd like to see some, like, Agatha Christie style movie or something. I'm hearing myself twice. That's why I'm talking like an idiot. But I just want to hear myself in the headphones anyway. So I felt like, okay, I'm gonna watch it. Well, it's 2 hours 10 minutes long, and it really really does a great job. So it's really like you have like, okay, so the beginning of the movie uncovers everything. So it's like you already know what happened, but none of the characters know that. But you know what happened, but they don't. So it's kind of weird. Um, so you're so it's like the reversed. Okay, I can't talk like this because I hear myself twice. Right. So okay, I have to unplug this. 1, 2. Okay. Right. Why I'm hearing myself. 1 second. Okay, I'm just gonna change this. Okay. Right. I have tried it with my headphones. It doesn't work. Okay. So basically, it's the reversed one because it's the beginning of the movie and the viewer, the one person which should not know what's going on. So the viewer actually knows exactly what's going on, and none of the characters know what's going on. And it's like, okay. So of course there's like plot twist, and so you know, like, okay, this is not it, like something's gonna happen, because like I know everything already, so of course I expected some plot twist. But yeah, so it kind of keeps you going, like you're like, oh my god, like how this is gonna turn, and who's the killer, etc, etc. Well, not really who's the killer, because you know that. So yeah, so it wasn't very predictable at all. Only the end, like I kind of started to think that I know, but I'm telling you, the name Knives Out, like the whole movie, you're not gonna understand why it's called Knives Out. And with one of the last scenes that you see in the movie, you will get it. So actually only then you will like find out, okay, why is this movie called Knives Out? You will know at the end of the movie. In a very, very funny way, trust me. I mean, I was really laughing my ass off. So yeah, so it's a crime, it's a murder, suicide investigation, so it's like serious, but it has like this really weird humor, which I really like, so no problem. And yeah, I think it defined the whole, crime movie. It's kind of like the Orient Express, like the murder on the Orient Express. So this is the style. So if you like this movie, you're definitely gonna like this one as well. So, and I should start writing reviews because I don't, and I should do that, right? So I really like Knives Out. Definitely recommending, 100%. And I'm just gonna check Ryan. Okay. Let me just talk. Okay, let's go back. In terms of the TV series, okay, I started watching this one. It's called Sneaky Pete. because you see these ads before every movie, and this was one of the most common ad that I've seen on Prime Video. So I was like, okay, let's give it a go. As you can see, I haven't watched the full episode 1 because I just didn't want to. Like, okay, I love Giovanni Ribisi. He's like the genius actor. Like, I love him so much, and he's great. He's great in it. But like, I also like the trailer. So the whole story, I think it's very interesting. And I was like, okay, so basically the point is that he's stealing the identity of his like cellmate in prison because he's released earlier. So he decides, he has some debts and he wants to change the identity. So he steals the identity of this cellmate, and like he told him stories. So it's like, oh, I haven't seen my family, like my auntie or whatever, like for 20 years or something. And he's very like, he doesn't look exactly like his cellmate, but there is some resemblance. So he starts thinking like, okay, so they haven't seen them for 20 years and we kind of look similar. And the point is that he was telling him a lot of stories from his life. So kind of like Giovanni, he kind of like knew the family, and he had this plan in his head. And he started asking him more like, oh, tell me more stories about your family, and tell me about like who is who and all the connections. So he kind of like has this plan, so to convince the family that it's really him. And yeah, it sounds amazing actually. I think it's a really great idea for the TV show, or actually like online show. But I didn't really like. It was good, like the first, I think, 30 minutes or something. But then, I don't know, like I felt like it was weird, because then they started chasing him, and he kind of like wanted to avoid them, and it was all full of secrets, and I just lost the plot. Like I didn't get it, so I stopped watching it actually. Sorry. But I think the story is great. It's just a question of they're these bounty hunters or whatever, and it's just all mixed up, and I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand it in the episode 1, so I was thinking like, I'm not gonna understand it ever. Right. So yeah, and another show in terms of like the detective or crime is of course Bosch. So I watched this as well. So I went to episode 2 because I really like crime shows, crime TV shows and movie films. So I was like, this actually has like a lot of great reviews. And you know why I chose this? Because I have read a book from Michael Connolly, I think his name, and he writes the novels about Harry Bosch, and yeah, Michael Connolly. And I haven't seen this, but I have read his books. I think I've read 3 books, and I love them. But so the problem here was that I imagined Harry Bosch in a very different way, and then this came out, or it was available online, and I was like, it's very different from my imagination. So that's why, like, it crashed my imagination. So I was like, I don't want to watch it because it's different, and I really like the books. So that's why I kind of like didn't watch it. Yeah, so that's Harry Bosch, Knives Out, Blair Witch. Okay, let's see if this is still here. Jumanji, yes. Okay, so we have Jumanji. And so first of all, IMDb 6.9 review. Like, what the hell? Okay, obviously people here on Prime Video love it because it's almost 4,000 reviews and it's almost like 5 out of 5. And I would give it 500%. I absolutely love this movie. I think it's funny. The cast is freaking amazing. Like, if you have Dwayne Johnson, like, it's a win. Then you mix it with Kevin Hart, that's a double win. And then you fit it in with Jack Black. I mean, that's a jackpot. So each of these guys have different character, and like completely different character, and it's hilariously funny. Like, I was dying. Seriously, I was crying from laughing. So 100% recommended, like 100%. And actually it has like nice point of, like, nice message for young people and for, in general. So, when it progresses, like, you play this game and you have lives, and like, at some point they say like, oh, but I only have one life left, so I don't want to risk it because I only have one life. And the other guy tells him exactly like, yes, that's the point. You only have one life. Think about that. So I really like this. In terms of the second part, which is this one, but you have to rent it. Like, it's good, but it's like repeating the same joke the second time. So, my neck. So, okay, let's move to Kevin Hart, because I watched a lot of movies with Kevin Hart. Okay, Ride Along. This was still available on Prime when I watched it. So it's not anymore. Sorry, guys, because I think it was pretty cool. I love Ice Cube and Kevin Hart as well. So it's basically a detective, and then Kevin Hart is, of course, a wannabe detective. And so Ice Cube takes him for a ride along, and it's pretty funny, like, the beginning is kind of like, okay, but then, I love it. Central Intelligence. It's also not available on Prime right now, but I watched it, and it's, again, Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart is amazing combination. So it was really funny indeed. But let me see what's available on Prime. The Upside, which is the Prime original, Amazon original. Well, I don't want to criticize, but for me it was slightly cliche. So I mean, I watched it, and also there's Nicole Kidman in it, so she's one of my most favorite actresses. But I'm thinking like I expected much more, and I think there's also French version of the movie, and I heard it's much better. Let me see the reviews of this. The reviews are pretty good, but I would not quite agree with that, in my opinion. I mean, it's funny in a way, like it's kind of funny, yes, but it's not like it's kind of cliche funny, not really like I don't know. Yep, just checking the stream. So yeah, so I would not give this, even though like Nicole Kidman she basically doesn't have bad movie. I don't think so. I'm not saying this is a bad movie, but I didn't really like it. Oh my god, get okay. As you can see, I watched it. So basically, Kevin Hart. I think he's one of the funniest, if not funniest, actors out there. So I watch a lot of things with him because I just, if I want to laugh, Kevin Hart is 100% guarantee. Will Ferrell, as you can see, it's actually very interesting because I mean, it's not like I didn't like him, but like he's always playing like he's overdoing it, and I'm like, I don't know. But in this movie, I have to say that is hilarious. Like it's so funny. It's the the whole story, it's just it's so sad, but it's so funny at the same time. And I'm just like, I don't know. I didn't know if I should cry or laugh. So whoever came up with the story was a genius, and it was really really funny, but also sad. But as every comedy, like it has happy end, so I don't want to like spoil you anything, but it was pretty interesting. So it's also the name like Get Hard. It's not sexual. It's about prison. I mean, I'm just gonna tell you a little bit without spoiling. So basically, Will Ferrell is part of the huge company, and he's a millionaire, and he's got, oh my god, he's got so much money and this amazing wife, or actually girlfriend, or I don't remember. And he's part of the huge company, but he has like either it's a boss or he's co-founder. And this Will Ferrell gets accused of frauding so many people, and like he didn't do anything really, but you don't know that, right? Well, now you do. And they told him, so the judge told him that in 30 days he's going to jail. And he's like, okay, so he has 30 days to stay at home and prepare for jail. And he meets his car washer, Kevin Hart, and he tells him like, because he's black, and he's like, oh, you have been to jail, of course. And Kevin Hart was like, what? And he said, I want you to prepare me for jail time, like you have to tell me all the rules, because I don't want to be someone's bitch. And Kevin Hart was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And then Will Ferrell told him, I think he pays him like, he's gonna pay him $30,000. And then Kevin Hart said, okay, I will help you. Well, the funny thing was that Kevin Hart came home to his wife and he said to his wife, like, oh, I'm gonna prepare my boss for a jail time. And she's like, well, you've never been to jail, so what the hell are you talking about? So basically, Kevin Hart has no idea how it is to be in jail, but he wants the money. So he said, yeah, I'll do it. But actually, that's the funny part, that he has no idea what he's doing. So he just like assumes this is the way. And Kevin Hart's performance in this movie is absolutely hilarious. He's like playing even, amazing. Really good, really good. Okay, I haven't watched this one, but Melissa McCarthy has a lot of interesting stories. Hitman's Bodyguard. Let me click on that. Have you seen this? Let me know. Pretty good reviews, as you can see. A lot of them, and almost 5 out of 5. Ryan Reynolds, Samuel L. Jackson, Gary Oldman, and, well, Salma Hayek, of course. Hello. She's amazing. I mean, she's hilarious. Okay, so if you haven't watched this, I would definitely recommend. It's available right now on Amazon Prime Video. And so Ryan Reynolds, has this awesome client. He's a security guard. He's got like security company, right? So he's not like the actual guard, but he's the boss of the whole security. And he's got like the best career, like the president. He's guarding the president and stuff. And, well, he gets killed by Samuel L. Jackson, I mean the president. So Ryan Reynolds is fired from his job. He loses the company and his reputation. So what he does then is to represent really like weirdos and psychos for a very small amount of money just to have a job. And then they kind of like, he meets together, I can't remember exactly, with Samuel L. Jackson, and then he tells him that he killed this president and ruined his career. So basically, Ryan Reynolds, like, he wants Samuel L. Jackson to die, but he kind of starts protecting him. And Salma Hayek is wife of Samuel L. Jackson, and in the movie, of course. And it was so funny to watch. Oh my gosh, she's top. She's incredible. I was laughing so hard. Oh my god. It's very, very funny. Okay, let's go to King of Thieves. Okay, if we look at the reviews, it's not like amazing. I mean, yeah, it is great, but it's not amazing. So there's 1 star missing. And there is a reason for that, I would say. Let me tell you a story about King of Thieves. Actually, this movie was filmed in Hatton Garden in London, and it was filmed in the jewelry shop, which used to be my client. So I talked to them, and then I saw like they have framed photo of Michael Caine